Embarking on a new mission with Tourism Saskatoon as the CEO of a new brand. I'll let her describe that. Stephanie Clovechok joins us today. Stephanie, thanks for this interruption to your day and sharing the good news that's coming from your office.
Never an interruption, Randy. Thanks for having me. And yes, it's very exciting for our team and our sector right now here in Saskatoon. We've been on about a 2-year journey as we have embarked on discovering who we are in the context of the community that we serve. And so our team has really partnered with a number of stakeholders in the community, of course, having lots of conversation with the community about who we are and who we want to be in the world and here in the community. And so in partnership with local creative agency Rock and Bloom, we have worked over the past 2 years to immerse ourselves in community conversations that have led to the launch of our new brand, Discover Saskatoon. And that's something that we launched last Wednesday, alongside a very monumental partnership signing with the Saskatoon Tribal Council as well.
So just to bring folks up to speed that might be watching, we have Tourism Saskatoon that is transforming, I guess, and working on the new brand. So it's no longer Tourism Saskatoon, it is Discover Saskatoon.
That's right. Yeah. And, we've seen destinations across the country rebrand over the past 3 to 5 years, and many of them taking on names like Explore Edmonton or Destination Vancouver, and even Destination Canada for our national management organization. And so when we started to become considerate about who we are with our partners, we realized that, yes, we do work in the industry of tourism, and yes, we are a destination, but the infinity of what we do is really in the act of discovery. And that's why we really felt very comfortable moving forward as Discover Saskatoon as an invitation, not only to travelers who are being inspired to come here through our work, but to our local community as well. And that we are inherently local in what we do, and we hope that we can create invitations for our own residents to discover themselves here, discover themselves first and foremost, discover this beautiful place that we are so fortunate to call home, and reconnect with each other and the land.
I find that interesting that, over the years that I've traveled, it's an interesting comment when you ask someone who's a resident of that city that you're visiting, I went and saw the whatever, and they would say, well, I didn't know that was open or that was here. And I think we're not guilty, but maybe lacking awareness of what we have so much to offer of in our city. This is a unique signing that you've done with the Saskatoon Tribal Council, or STC.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come to be, and what is the significance of having them as signatories with the new brand?
Our partnership agreement that we signed with the 7 chiefs of the 7 member nations of the Tribal Council last weekend, Tribal Chief Mark Arcand, was the first step in our commitment to economic reconciliation through the lens of the visitor economy that we work within and that we drive. And so that partnership really indicates and signals that our responsibility to the United Nations Declaration for the Rights of Indigenous People and our responsibility and obligation towards the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action is something that we are embodying here in everything that we do out in the community, but also within the organization and our operations. And so with that, we make a commitment to partnership, to equitable access to the economy, to equitable access for training opportunities and development and employment. And really at the essence of it, the heart of it is, if we think back to pre-colonial times, Indigenous people welcomed the first settlers to this Turtle Island, and they were hosts to the first settlers of this land, bringing them into their families, into their communities, providing them with food and medicine. And so to live in the spirit and in the intent of the treaties that we are bound to by our ancestors is really what we are doing with this partnership, and with the intention of inclusion of Indigenous territorial protocols in a meaningful and respectful and appropriate way, and also in the development of Indigenous tourism experiences here in our urban center and within the communities of the Tribal Council nations.
It was interesting to spend a night out at Whitecap, Dakota, at the new hotel there. And I think it's not just localized, it's only a 15, 20-minute drive. But in terms of people who are coming to Saskatoon, what can we as citizens and residents here, what can we do to help draw that attraction and to sing from the same song sheet, so to speak?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think that a lot of people are asking how can we engage with this now, and again, the act of discovery first starts with ourselves and asking ourselves, what might be preventing me from truly immersing myself in my own community and creating relationships, and that really is the spirit and the intent of the treaties that we and our ancestors signed. So building relationships with one another, reaching out, connecting with your fellow community members, learning more about Indigenous and Métis heritage. There are so many opportunities in this community, more than I've ever seen and experienced in any Canadian city that I've ever lived in, to have opportunities to really immerse yourselves. There are powwows coming up, and that's something that are available for everyone. And in fact, the Tribal Council is hosting their first annual urban powwow here in Saskatoon starting on July the 12th. And so that's a really great opportunity to immerse yourself in that traditional culture. But Tosh Days are coming up in July, and that they will be celebrating the 50th year there. And the Métis Nation is really starting to drive some great promotion around that. So lots to learn there. But I think that just immersing yourselves in the community and making sure that, when we think about tourism, we might consider why we travel. Are we looking to get away from something, or are we looking to escape this life, the rat race that we're all in? And I would say that here at home, we have such an awesome opportunity to just build wellness into our lives by connecting with one another and ourselves here. So whether it's a walk in a park that you haven't been to yet, a trip out on the Prairie Lily and just kicking back and seeing the city from a different perspective, or maybe a pitchfork fondue experience out at Champagne County near St. Denis. Those are experiences that are very unique to Saskatoon that you can't find anywhere else, and when we're in a far off place, sitting and doing something that we've never done before, connecting with people that we've never connected with before, that experience is very much available here at home. And I'd say, as a mother, more important for us to do now than ever with our own children, to help them really ground themselves and root themselves in this spectacular place that we are very fortunate to call home.
I think children of all ages, myself included, we're all from here, most of us, and I think we overlook and take for granted of so many things that are right in our midst. In your role as the director of Discover Saskatoon, the CEO, pardon me, when you look at trying to attract people, are you seeing more of an international flair and flavor for people that A, look for connecting flights and ability to travel here, and B, when I get there, can I spend more than a day or two and maybe a week exploring and discovering all those things that you talked about?
Absolutely, Randy. We are a destination that does offer an invitation for an international traveler. And in fact, tourism, or Discover Saskatoon's work, pardon me, is very focused in business events, sporting events, and leisure travel. We have very specifically targeted international markets that we are present in, like Germany, the UK, Japan, and the USA. And then here at home in the national market, we have been very intentional about the development of new tourism businesses here. And that's actually something that we honed in and focused on very much over the past 2 years during COVID. When we were unable to welcome people here, we know that locals and visitors alike need a critical mass of experiences to have, of things to do. So over the past couple of years, our team has been responsible for the enhancement or the development of almost 24 new experiences and tourism experiences here in the community, whether it be a new culinary experience with Meewasin Valley Authority, or whether that be a guided paddleboard tour down the South Saskatchewan River. Right now, the amount of experiences that we have enabled us to create 5 to 7 day itineraries for a traveler to have when they come here. And so that's really exciting from a leisure perspective, but also from a business event perspective. Saskatoon is home to some of Canada's sectors of strength that are very important to the Canadian economy and here at home. So sectors like life sciences or agriculture, technology, we're the home of global water and food security. So when we're thinking about the human capital that we can attract and the investment potential that we attract through business events, that's very important to our team. And we've got team members that are located in Ottawa, team members that fan out across the world to talk about and prospect business events that can bring that kind of valuable human resource and investment potential. And just next year, we're going to be hosting the World Isotope Convention. So that's nuclear medicine. Travelers from around the world that are going to be coming to our soil to learn about nuclear medicine here in Saskatoon. And then from the sporting perspective, we just hosted the curling championships here in Saskatoon just last December. And we know that we are a destination of hosting excellence. So not only are we hosting people for those business events and sporting events, but people want to stay because they've got some really exceptional things to do and learn about while they're here.
I think I had a spare the class that they were offering isotopes that particular semester. But I'm so happy to hear that there is a more international focus and that we are, in fact, a beacon, if you will, on that international map. And I want to thank you and your team for 2 years of hard work. Congratulations also to the Tribal Council here in Saskatoon. If people did want to get more information, if they have family coming, or maybe some business leaders might be watching and say, I have a tour that I'm planning for my convention, how would they reach you?
tourismsaskatoon.com is still the URL that we're using as we make the transition through our brand. Also can pop into the visitor center here, downtown Saskatoon, just outside or just beside the City Hall, and then just reach out to our info line, and we are all reachable and accessible, and just really would love to hear from the community right now so we can provide everyone with the resources they need to truly discover Saskatoon.
Stephanie, I look forward to doing that with you. Thank you so much for taking this time today.
Thanks, Randy.
That's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guests Shannon Jostall from the Saskatchewan Jazz Festival, as well as Stephanie Clovechok from Discover Saskatoon. I'm your host, Randy Shawila. We'll see you next time on Connect.